Breaking alert, US military confirmed airstrikes on Maduro Palace right now. Venezuela's 300 billion oil barrels guarded by Russian Wagner mercenaries. Chinese debt. This wasn't Hollywood fiction. Intelligence confirms USS finalizing strike plans right now against Maduro. Venezuela holds 300 billion barrels, world's largest oil reserves controlled by cocaine cartels dangerously. Russian mercenaries Wagner Group guard oil fields, while Chinese debt traps strangle economy brutally. 1914 Lake Maracaibo oil gusher made Venezuela richer than Saudi Arabia within 15 years dramatically. 1929 Venezuela pumped 300k barrels daily, fueling global markets, building modern nation overnight. Standard Oil engineers transform swamps into world's richest oil fields, changing history forever. 1950s Venezuela had higher GDP per capita than Italy, Spain, Japan, South Korea combined. Caracas skyscrapers rivaled Miami, while middle class drove Cadillacs, vacationed in Europe regularly. Then Hugo Chavez arrived 1999, promising paradise, delivering Venezuela's worst nightmare instead. Chavez nationalized oil fields, firing 20k skilled workers, replacing them with political loyalists. PDVSA, world's most profitable oil company, became Chavez's personal piggy bank overnight. 2007 Chavez expelled ExxonMobil, seizing $12 billion assets, funding Cuban Revolution instead. 2007 Chavez expelled ExxonMobil, seizing $12 billion assets, funding Cuban Revolution instead. Venezuela borrowed $100 billion Chinese loans against future oil never delivered properly. 2014 oil crashed to $50 barrel. Venezuela's economy collapsed 75% in 5 years. Hyperinflation hit 1,007 million%. 2018 people used money as toilet paper. 5 million fled starvation, leaving world's largest oil reserves completely worthless now. Maduro regime clings power through cocaine trafficking, FARC guerrillas, brutal repression. USS sanctions tightened after 2019 Guaido recognition, freezing 7 billion PDVSA assets. 2024 Trump re-election reignited regime change talks, military options reappeared suddenly. Satellite imagery shows U.S. Navy destroyers 200 miles, Venezuelan coast war games. Intelligence intercepts confirm Pentagon strike plans targeting Miraflores, Palace oil facilities. Wagner Group 2K mercenaries protect Maduro, surrounded by elite Russian Spetsnaz advisors. Chinese $60 billion debt remains unpaid, securing oil fields strategically critical now. Iran supplies drones, missiles. Maduro regime violating on arms embargo secretly. Cuba sends 35k intelligence officers controlling Venezuela's military police completely. Cartel del Sol moves 20 tons cocaine monthly through oil tanker smuggling. U.S. Treasury tracks 2 billion narco money laundering through crypto exchanges. Pentagon war games simulate 72-hour regime decapitation strike, overwhelming air defenses. 300 billion barrels, largest reserves weaponized against us. Energy security deliberately now. Operation Southern Spear deploys 15k US troops, warships targeting drug routes. Maduro. Trump closes Venezuelan airspace, signals imminent ground attacks against regime assets. CIA empowered covert ops. Gerald Ford carrier 35 jets, region deployed. 22.5 Trump tariffs 25% on Venezuelan oil buyers, pressure mounts intensely. Maduro bounty raised 50 ml, labeled global terrorist leader by Washington officially. Chevron drives oil rebound 700k BPD. China pulls back smaller projects only. China Concord invests at B2 fields, aims 60k BPT by 2026 end. PDVSA joint ventures NPNE Rosneft, but production never recovered fully. 1980s oil glut crashed prices. Venezuela accrued massive debt, buying Citgo refineries. 1980s oil glut crashed prices. Venezuela accrued massive debt, buying Citgo refineries. Chavez, 1992 failed coup rose fame, inspiring overthrow political establishment successfully. 1998 Chavez elected socialist platform, using oil wealth reduce poverty inequality. Bolivarian missions expanded services, cut poverty 20%. But oil production declined steadily. 2002-03 PDVSA strike, Chavez fired 18k workers, blacklisted, technical expertise lost. Petrocaribe subsidized oil, Cuba allies strategic reserves dwindled, debt doubled rapidly. 2013 Chavez death, Maduro inherited Crumbling petrostate hyperinflation refugee crisis. As primary buyer pre-sanctions, now China takes 60% exports debt repayment. Venezuela owes China $10 crude 3 joint VLCC tankers monthly. 22 success captures Maduro 150 jets 20-year basis regime change operation. Trump announces us will run Venezuela transition safe, proper, judicious manner. Military action requires sustained disengagement post-regime change, experts warn Chatham. Timeline set 2025. Trump escalates diplomatic military maneuvers against Maduro steadily. Cartel del Sol terrorist designation enables us target Maduro assets legally. Pentagon explores airstrikes cocaine labs, direct Maduro elimination high-risk options. Venezuela mobilizes military arms equipment, massive responses show force. Regime change achievement eluded past presidents, Trump eyes major victory now. Oil output fraction capacity mismanagement sanctions, decaying infrastructure cripples production. 300B reserves decay while Chevron boosts output, Chinese firm small scale. 1980s Paris gasoline subsidy cuts, birthright fuel riots killed hundreds thousands. Chavez purged armed forces opponent, solidified military control post successfully. PDVSA strike cost 1325B shutdown, imported Brazil fuel desperately. Chavez closer, Cuba Iran post-strike us relations deteriorated permanently. Oil peaked 33 MPPD late 1990s, never returned post-strike levels. 2021 Biden concessions reverse, Trump reimposes maximum pressure campaign aggressively. Drug crisis, immigration blamed Maduro, Trump links narco-terrorism directly. Steel 5 stealth fighters, US-Ford carrier strike group, Caribbean position ready. Ground strikes cocaine facilities. Traffickers imminent, Trump hints decision made. Legal military ops, cocaine routes, terrorist cartel designation justifies action. Beijing frown. 2021 coup sees Maduro's stability, oil supply security. 10 conflicts watch 2026 Venezuela oil reserves, Trump flashpoint analysts predict. Crisis intensified, low oil prices, 2015 production drop, lack investment chronic. Chavez missions costly, oil decline, steady government debt more than doubled. Hyperinflation, refugees, economic chaos, petrostate cautionary tale, resource curse classic. PDVSA workers strike 2002 forced Chavez regain control, purge dissenters. Venezuela descent, political chaos, resource wealth, dangerous developing nation influence. Maduro clings power, narco state proxy wars, Russia, China, Iran, Cuba. As intervention, Panama 2.0. No sustained engagement, occupation required, experts. Explosions, Caracas jets overhead, Maduro captured Miraflores, palace stormed.
Trump transition plan, U.S. runs Venezuela, indefinite formal power handover later.
Post-capture analysis, Chatham sustained military engagement, inevitable regime change messy. Oil fields, Wagner guarded Chinese debt, secured Iranian drones, Cuban spies everywhere. 300K, BBD, 1929, possesses 700K, 2025, Chevron rebound fraction potential. Citgo refineries debt boat 1990s, now a sanction leverage weapon. Carcazo 1989 dead, inspired Chavez coup plot, military career. Bolivarian revolution, social services, expanded poverty, cut oil, mismanaged fatally. Petrocaribe, Cuba lifeline, Chavez. Alliances, strategic reserves, drained foolishly. Maduro inherits 2013 Chavez death. Petrostate collapse accelerated rapidly. China 60% exports $10 DB debt, crude repayment, VLCC tankers routine. US capture Maduro 2026 150 jets, operation success, regime falls.
Trump victory ousts Maduro, eludes past admin's major geopolitical win. Chevron not China saves decaying oil fields, production rebounds slowly. Private Chinese Concord $1 billion gamble 60K BPD 2026 risky bet.
PDVSA mismanagement sanctions, world's largest reserves, produce fraction capacity. 1,980 seconds debt crisis. Perez IMF riots, martial law, Venezuela unravels.
Chavez 1998 oil wealth socialist dream turned petrostate nightmare reality.
Strike 2003 PDVSA gutted, expertise production decline, irreversible damage.
Iran, Cuba, Russia, China proxy war, Venezuela oil battleground now.
U.S. Southern Spear, 15K troops, warships, narco regime targeted aggressively.
Airspace closed ground, imminent Trump decision, Venezuela transformed permanently.
CIA covert ops, F-35 strikes, carrier group regime decapitation executed.
Bounty terrorist label airstrikes, cocaine labs, Maduro era ends violently.
Venezuela mobilizes massive but outdated Soviet gear, No match U.S. forces. Oil rebound Chevron key China debt. Overhang limits investments heavily.
Caracazo legacy Chavez rise austerity backlash political instability chronic.
Missions poverty reduction. Oil decline debt explosion perfect storm created. Petrocaribe alliances, drained reserves, Cuba lifeline Venezuela suicide pact. Hyperinflation 1.7%. Money worthless refugees flee millions desperately. 300 B barrels curse. Not blessing mismanaged sanction decaying rapidly. U.S. runs Venezuela Trump plan transition. Indefinite control established.
Chatham warns occupation messy sustained engagement post-capture required long-term.
Timeline 2025. Escalations diplomatic military peak capture operation success. Timeline 2025. Escalations diplomatic military peak capture operation success.
Pentagon options airstrikes elimination high-stakes regime change gamble. Production peaked 1990s crashed mismanagement sanctions vicious cycle endless. Chavez purges military control absolute post-coup power consolidated fully.
PDVSA strike $13.5 B loss. Imported fuel crisis. Deepened desperately. Iran, Russia, China, Cuba proxies. Maduro lifeline narco state survives.
Chevron rebound hope Chinese retreat debt cripples new investments critically. 1989 riots Perez fall Chavez rise austerity backlash violent. Socialist oil dream Bolivarian missions poverty cut production gutted fatally. Strike workers 18K fired blacklisted expertise hemorrhage irreversible decline.
Petrocaribe Cuba. Iran shift U.S. relations deteriorated alliances realign. Maduro 2013. Inherits collapse accelerates hyperinflation refugee exodus massive.
China debt crude exports lifeline sanctions work around partial success only. 2026 jets capture Maduro Miraflores falls regime change complete.
Trump achievement. Past presidents failed major victory petrostate liberated. Oilfields decay Chevron key rebound. Chinese small bets risky future.
Venezuela 300 B barrels flashpoint resolved. U.S. runs transition history turns.